Hey, welcome back, Math Gurus. Today's video, we're going to focus on ratios and rates. Just keep in mind a ratio can describe part to part or part to whole. In this example, you see 2 pink highlighters to 3 pencils. So if you were doing part to part, you would either compare the highlighters to the pencils or pencils to the highlighters. Or if you're talking about part to whole, it could be highlighters to the total supplies or pencils to the total supplies. So it's asking, what is the ratio of highlighters to pencils? Well, there's 2 highlighters to 3 pencils. So I could write it with the colon. I could write it out. Or the last but my least favorite is the 2/3. It's asking for the total amount of pencils. So that's your unknown if there are 30 highlighters and pencils. So I'm going to create a table. I'm going to write highlighters. Then I'm going to write pencils. Now I'm going to do total because it specifically mentioned total. 2 highlighters, 3 pencils, and the total amount of that is 5. But we want to know what are all these totals if there's 30 pencils and highlighters. So that's going to be in the bottom row because that describes total. So we want to become 5 needs to become 30. I could scale these all by 2. And then I end up with 10 total, 6 pencils, and 4 highlighters. But keep in mind, I'm trying to get to a total of 30. But now that I've got to 10, it's easy to see that 10 times 3 gives me 30. Or if we scale 10 by 3, that means we're going to have to scale the others by 3. There's nothing wrong with going 5 to 30. Like, that's totally fine, especially if you're pretty good at your times tables. All right, 4 scaled by 3 will give me 12. Let's go back. Is it asking for the total highlighters or pencils? And in this case, it's saying pencils, so there's would be 18 pencils. All right, let's do another problem. It says use the ratio of green die to purple marble chips to complete the ratio table. So it's 24, which doesn't even include the 3. If there's 24 green dice, how many purple chips would there be? Now it gave you a ratio of 42 and 63. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go from 42 to 24, and I definitely don't want to go from 63 to 108. So what I'm going to do is use the original ratio of 3 die to 2 purple. So I'm going to put 3 on the left side because that describes the green dice. And then I'm going to put 2 for the purple chips on the right side. Now I can see some direct relationships. I know that if 3 scaled by 8 will give me 24, and I have to scale the 2 by 8 because whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other to keep equivalent ratios. So I got 16 there. However, I still don't want to go from 16 to 108 or even 63 to 108, so I can figure out the missing piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the original. What do I have to scale 2 by to get 104? Well, half of 108 is 54, so that means 2 times 54 will give me 108. And if I'm keeping my ratios equivalent, I'm going to scale 3 by 54, and that will give me 162. So let's do one last problem. I recommend you pause the video, try to at least set it up yourself and solve it, and then come back. All right, it says Houston Comets won 15 out of 24 games. So 15 is your part, 24 is your total. How many games did the Houston Comets lose out of 40? All right, so this question tried to trick us. So if they won, I'm going to set up won for the games they won, and then I'm going to include lost, and then total. So if they won 15 out of 24, they want you to figure out that 9 were lost. They don't tell you that, but if they won 15, then the rest they lost. However, we want to get to 40 total. So that means 40 can only go in the total section, which would be here. And I'm looking at this and going, I don't know a direct relationship from 24 to 40, but I do know that 15, 9, and 24 can all be scaled down by 3. So what that means is I'm going to divide this by 3, or scale down by 3, or 1/3 of 15 will give me 5. Then I'm also going to scale 9 by 3. 9 divided by, I should have said, let me rephrase that. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then 24 divided by 3, or multiply by 1/3, will give me 8. Now this is easier to manage. I can see a direct relationship from 8 to 40. I scale that by 5. I'm going to scale 3 by 5, and then I'm also going to scale 5 by 5. So that gives me 25 games that they won, 15 they lost out of 40. So it's asking how many did they lose? Well, that would give me 15 losses. I hope this helped. If it did, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, or even drop a comment.